Hello everyone, I am back to continue reading chapter 4 of the book Number Games 9/11 to Coronavirus. And what did I do with the book? Oh, here it is. This is the book that I'm reading from now. The name of my channel is called Gnostic Knowledge, and what I am doing on this channel is sharing the knowledge of gematria via the books written by Zachary K. Hubbard. And he's the young man that wrote number games as well. And gematria is the encoding of numbers within our letters and words. Every word we speak has a numerical value. And I've finished his first book, Letters and Numbers, on my channel, and you can go and listen to the reads of that book that I've done. And I am now in chapter 4 of his latest book, Number Games 9/11 to Coronavirus. And once you start delving into what gematria is and you understand what the code is and how it is being used, I mean, it is heartbreaking, but it is true. I mean, what Zachary K. Hubbard has uncovered is just phenomenal. It is so simple what they've done, but it is just, man, it has had terrible consequences for so many people. So I encourage you to find out what gematria is, and I will let you know how to get the books once I am done with this reading. And so until then, I am going, well, without further ado, I am going to begin reading on page 78, and I am in chapter 4, and chapter 4 is entitled Event 201, the Jesuit Order, Anthony Fauci, and Pope Francis. Okay, so here we go. Coming back to Pope Francis in 84, he will turn 84 December 17th, 2020, a date that is the 351st day of the year in non-leap years. On that day, should he be blessed to make it, his age will match his birth numerology, born September 17th, 1936, a date giving him 84 numerology on his birth chart, fitting for the first Jesuit Pope. And regarding the number, if you go back in time to September 11th, 2013, the mainstream media carried the story of Pope Francis trading in the old Pope Mobile, a name summing to 54 in Pythagorean, same as Jesuit order, for a 1984 Renault. Yeah, right. With gematria, you can fully understand the joke. And please don't overlook that the news fell on September 11th, the anniversary of the most tragic day in U.S. history. Furthermore, that date can be written 11/9, not unlike 119, connecting to both Vatican and Francis in reverse simple English. It was 119 days after Francis's birthday when Notre Dame burned April 15, 2019. Regarding his 1984 Renault, please recall that in the days after Donald Trump became president of the United States, Amazon, the company established in 1995 with clear Vatican ties, began reporting that George Orwell's 1984 had risen to bestseller out of the blue. This was reported Wednesday, January 25th, 2017 by Amazon and all of mainstream media. What's funny about the timing of the announcement, the 25th day of the year, is best decoded with Pythagorean gematria, where Amazon, Trump, and Pope each equate to 25. And if you use reverse Pythagorean, the word time also sums to 25. On the subject, I encourage you to take the time to watch the film In Time, where the plot is set in the future, in a world where time is literally money, and when you turn 25 years old, a timer begins on your physical body, and if it runs out, you die, not by chance. Both death and time equate to 25 in reverse Pythagorean, not unlike Dayton, summing to 25 with Pythagorean where the film begins. Also not by chance, the film is about the battle between rich and poor. And with that thought in mind, let us not overlook that the year 2020 is 25 years after the establishment of Amazon in 95 and the year that Jeff Bezos turned 56 years old, having been born on January 12, 1964. Of course, Amazon is the same company siphoning the wealth of the people of the world right now, who are told to stay home and essentially, if they need something, to buy it online, meaning buy it from Amazon. These people are horrible. Coming back to 1984, authored by George Orwell after the World Wars, about a future world where people are ruled over by screens, and censorship and suppression are the favorite tools of those who control with authoritarian measures. It is subject matter reminding a lot of the times we are living in today. And Donald Trump has called for these types of measures numerous times himself, routinely asking for his critics to be shut down, whether they're Saturday Night Live, news outlets, or social media platforms. Of course, it is all part of a show, but it is a show with meaning and informs us where we are going, where we are in the cabal's ongoing agenda that has been foretold through popular media, including 1984, as well as films such as The Matrix and Fight Club, both immensely popular in the period of time leading up to September 11, 2001. If you haven't seen those films, The Matrix is about a man who sees through the illusions of this world and joins a team to fight the film's version of the Cabal, and who is also shown carrying a passport with an expiration date of September 11, 2001. As for Fight Club, it is about a secret society coming together to fight corporatism, world trade, and big banks. The film ends with a city skyline collapsing in free fall from demolitions reminiscent of the World Trade Center's demise on September 11, 2001. And keep in mind, the author of Fight Club, Chuck Palahniuk, how do I say his last name? I'm going to spell it. Palahniuk. Chuck Palahniuk. I can't pronounce it, but anyway. And keep in mind, the author from Fight Club, Chuck P, is what I'll call him, is from the Seattle area, the same city that's home to the firm that built the World Trade Centers. The term for this imagery in popular media, my tongue is getting tongue-tied here. The term for this imagery in popular media, such as the collapsing skyline and Fight Club, is called predictive programming, and it is something my first book, Letters and Numbers, explains and exposes with numerous examples. It is also something we will touch more on in the chapters ahead as we expose the predictive programming for 9/11 and coronavirus. Okay? As we near the end of this chapter, I want to teach you one more cipher for the purpose of further cementing the point that all number games of the Cabal are time-based. Before revealing the cipher, I want to take you back to July 18th, 2016, a date that can be written 18/7, much like 187, and a date that came a span of 187 days from Inauguration Day for Donald Trump, January 20th, 2017. Of course, July 18th was the date his GOP convention began in Cleveland, Ohio. In gematria terms, Society of Jesus, Washington, D.C., and Paris, France, the original home of the Jesuits, all sum to 187 with reverse simple English. Adding to the list, what is etched on the Scottish Rite headquarters in Washington, D.C., ancient and accepted Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, and it has an ampersand instead of the word and. So, ancient accepted Scottish Rite of Freemasonry sums to 187 with Pythagorean gematria. And for another related name equating to 187, George Washington sums to 187 with simple English. And in a cipher known as Satanic gematria, both time and Ohio equate to 187 as well. This cipher is very simple. It begins with A equals 36, B equals 37, C equals 38, and so on, counting up to Z equals 61. And where 666 is the 36th triangular number. And so I will give you a look at the Satanic cipher, Satanic gematria. Oops, let me see. Alrighty. Not by chance, when you decode Satanic gematria using this cipher, it sums to 666. And even further, 61 is the 18th prime number, and 6 plus 6 plus 6 sums to 18. These values sync with the gematria of IHS, the Jesuit acronym, equating to 36 with simple English and 18 with Pythagorean. Furthermore, Jesus Christ sums to 151 with simple English gematria, with simple English, the 36th prime number. Sorry about that. And Jesus equates to 61 with reverse simple, the 18th prime. Thus, think light and dark and black and white, which is symbolized in Masonic and Vatican checkerboard flooring. Think duality and think Revelation 13:18, which references 666, the number of the beast, but also the number of a man. Adding to the relevance of the number 187, from Donald Trump's June 14th birthday each year to Pope Francis's December 17th birthday is a span of 187 days. How about that? This is crazy. Furthermore, Donald Trump was the winner of the 58th U.S. presidential election held in 2016 after announcing he was running from the 58th story Trump Tower and before hiring 58-year-old Steve Ray for Inauguration Day. This becomes all the more interesting when you realize that Pope Francis, calendar, zodiac, Gregorian, and solar cycle each equate to 58 in gematria terms. And once again, the Catholic Church is credited with the Gregorian calendar based on the solar cycle, as well as the roots of our English language. It should also be noted, Trump, Francis, time, and Ohio each equate to 47, same as the cabal, Vatican, president, White House, government, and authority. Thus, these two Jesuit puppets, one the face of the Vatican, the other the face of the United States of Washington, D.C., United States and Washington, D.C., the latter being arguably the most powerful Jesuit city in the world, are not only in sync with each other in terms of the distance of their birthdays, but they are named accordingly, sharing the same gematria and the same numbers that again pay tribute to time and who is in control of it. Oh my goodness. Further adding to the relevance of the number 187 is the fact that John F. Kennedy was assassinated November 22nd, 1963, the 187th year of the United States existence, and JFK assassination sums to 187 with simple English gematria. At the same time, with Sumerian gematria, where you multiple Yeah, multiply. He wrote multiple, but it says multiply. Okay, where you multiply the alphabetic order by 6. Okay, that's what Sumerian. I'm going to reread the whole sentence. Sorry about that. At the same time, with Sumerian gematria, where you multiply the alphabetic order by 6, the phrase JFK assassination sums to 1122, not unlike the date November 22 or 1122. Keep in mind, he was killed in Dealey Plaza, named after George Dealey, a Scottish Rite Freemason, and we just learned about the 187 connection with the Jesuits and the Scottish Rite, a number also associated with homicide through police codes. Codes, though, did they not say the word codes there? And people want to say there's not a code in play, but there we have a word code. Stay on code. I had a friend, well, we're not friends anymore, but because she didn't want to hear about this information either. But she was talking to me one day, and she was, about something that was going on at work, and she said, well, they just stayed on code. I was like, oh my God, you can say the word code, but you can't understand there is a code, People are funny. People are funny. But, life goes on with or without you, and I'm just glad to be awake. Okay. Moving right along. With regards to JFK dying in 1963, there is an important point to be made about 19-year cycles, something we covered earlier. Keep in mind, 1963 was 19 years before 1982, the year Time magazine named the computer a person of the year, the only time a non-living thing was given the honor by the magazine. Consider further, 1982 was 19 years before 2001, the year the Patriot Act transpired, allowing the U.S. government to use computer technology to track its people as it never had before. Then even further, 2020 came another 19 years later, and that was the year the governments of the world made it clear they would be tracking all people at all times through smartphones that are personal computers with the government's bolstered internet technology 5G. Again, every 19 years, the moon syncs with the Gregorian calendar, and in tarot, the 19th card is the Sun card. Also, let us not forget the order out of chaos agenda, where chaos equates to 19 with Pythagorean gematria. At the same time, it was JFK who warned against secrecy and those who operate by means of infiltration, which is a key strategy of the Jesuit order. To revisit his quote from April 27, 1961, these were his exact words: "For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. It is a system which is conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations." Of course, he was speaking about the Jesuit order. I bet he wouldn't say that, though. These suckers. Of course, he was speaking about the Jesuit order, reminding us that he died, oh my God, 177 days after his May 29, 1963 birthday, corresponding with the gematria of the Jesuit order as well as New World Order. Oh my God, so man, these people are ruthless. And for one last point on 187 and the Jesuits, let us rewind to 1984. On January 14, 1984, Ray Kroc, the founder of McDonald's, who joined the company in 54, died. Then precisely 187 days after his death on July 18th or 1807, a McDonald's was shot to pieces in San Ysidro, California, a town summing to 56, not unlike Society of Jesus, and also 119, not unlike the Vatican. Furthermore, the shooter's name, James Huberty, equates to 177, the same as Jesuit order, and reminding us that JFK was killed exactly 177 days after his own birthday in the 187th year of the nation's existence. To go even further, San Ysidro, California sums to 95, with Pythagorean gematria a very important number to the Jesuits' establishment, as we learned, who were formed to counter the 95 Theses and recognized by Rome on the day leaving 95 days in the year, September 27th. It reminds us that the surname of the Jesuit Fauci sums to 95 with reverse simple English, and he was born December 24th, 1940, a date with 95 numerology. It also reminds us of the fact that Event 201 took place on October 18, 2019, the same day the Military World Games began in Wuhan, China, games that trace back to the year 1995 and to Rome, the home of the Vatican. As we'll get to, 1995 was the year Bill Gates was declared the world's richest man on the most fitting date, the same day that Corona typewriters filed for bankruptcy, and also what would have been his mother's birthday, but she had recently passed in 94. And on the subject of Corona typewriters, before long we'll learn why Tom Hanks, Madonna, and others were posing with them and saluting the number 201 at the same time during the time of the pandemic, including John Krasinski, Krasinski, including John Krasinski, I'm imagining, of the hit TV show The Office, that ran exactly 201 episodes and not by accident. As for the date Bill Gates was declared the richest man and Corona typewriters folded, it was July 5th, 1995, and on the 25-year anniversary of those things happening, July 5th, 2020, it was reported that Nick Cordero, the Broadway actor who reportedly had a leg amputated before losing a lung to coronavirus, had died from the same disease on the 187th day of the leap year, corresponding with Society of Jesus. Furthermore, his death came precisely 201 days after Pope Francis's 83rd birthday. Mr. 201, who lives in Suite 201, reminding of the song Murder by Numbers and why it was released in 1983. On that same date, another top story. Vanessa Gillian's body was identified in Killeen, Texas, a town summing to 187. A girl who had been missing since April 22nd. 2020, 74 days earlier, a number that should remind you of both the Society of Jesus and killing. It was reported that her body was found on June 30th, on the 70th day since the disappearance, but because of decomposition, they could not identify her until July 5th. Again, the significance of the 70th day is that both Vatican and Francis sum to 70 with simple English, a stat that pairs with the fact that these stories came 201 days after Pope Francis's birthday on the 187th day of the year, and they also fell on a date that can be written 7-5, matching the reverse Pythagorean value of Catholic Church equating to 75. At the same time, Catholic Church sums to 69 with Pythagorean, and her body was found 69 days after she disappeared, or on the 70th day since her disappearance. Keep in mind, this happened at Fort Hood, a military base that is no stranger to rituals by the numbers, as I wrote about in my first book. And for even more Jesuit fingerprints, Hood sums to 42, the same as Jesuit. Furthermore, the date of Nick Cordero's and Vanessa Gillian's Fateful News was a date with 52 numerology, corresponding with the gematria of Pope, using simple English, summing to 52, the same as devil. Oh my God. Keep in mind, this was just days before the news of Naya Rivera's drowning in Lake Piru, or Lake Devil, that came 187 days before her birthday. And on the 191st day of the year, July 9th, or 7-9, which was a date with 56 numerology, corresponding with the fact that Society of Jesus equates to 56, 79, 187, and 191. To close with the topic at hand, the number 201, and to better understand and why it is so important to the Jesuits, I want to leave you with a word. It is Triclavianism. Triclavianism. Triclavianism, equating to 201 with reverse simple English. It is the simple belief that Jesus was crucified with 3 nails, an idea that is captured in the Jesuit logo, depicting the 3 nails and the cross inside the sun. As you have learned, 3 has gematria of 56, the other very special number to the Society of Jesus. Of course, this fits in with the concept of the Trinity and the three independent city-states ruling over the world. Also relevant, Triclavianism sums to 93 with reverse Pythagorean, corresponding with the 93 gematria values of crucifix, God's Son, Nazareth, and the fact that Jesus is crucified in the Bible between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. At the same time, let us not forget that the sun in the sky is said to be 93 million miles from Earth, or that in recent times modern science supposedly traced the date of Jesus' crucifixion to April 3rd, the 93rd day of the year, of the Gregorian year. Let us also recall that Saturn equates to 93, the keeper of time, connected to death and judgment. And let us also recall that Wuhan coronavirus equating to 93 is a time-based ritual that carries the threat of death behind it. Besides the numbers, the point to take away with the Jesuit fixation on Triclavianism is that it is related to death and killing, something the Jesuits have used as leverage and as a weapon for centuries to accomplish their political endeavors. This syncs with the fact that capital punishment also sums to 201 with simple English, and with the thought of number 3 on the brain, and knowing that controlling time is the object, consider there are 3 phases of time: the past, the present, and the future. And that brings us back to George Orwell's quote: "Who controls the past controls the future. Who controls the present controls the past." And as we know, the most effective way to control people is with fear, especially the threat of death. It is to say, the Jesuits are controlling time and fulfilling prophecy by the code. Absolutely. And on the subject of prophecy, you should know it sums to 666 with Jewish gematria, similar to how 3 nails equates to 666 with Sumerian gematria. At the same time, IHS sums to 36 with simple English, the acronym in the center of the Jesuit logo, just above the 3 nails, and 666 is the 36th triangular number, not to be confused with Jesus Christ, summing to 151 with simple English, the 36th prime number. Ahead when we discussed the Clade X pandemic simulation, you'll come to understand why it was really carried out May 15th, 2018, 666 days before the coronavirus pandemic was declared on March 11, 2020, proving Anthony Fauci correct, the Jesuit who said at the Jesuit University, Georgetown, this would happen to the Jesuit-educated President Donald Trump on the date of January 10, 2017, a date that can be written as 1/10, similar to how prophecy equates to 110 with reverse simple English. And these people are some sick puppies. And this is what I'm saying, these people are running the world with how they want to do it. It is just crazy. But, if enough people wake up to what is happening to us, to want to do something about it, start letting it be known that we know and we want it to stop. I get so tired of people saying, this is how it's written in the Bible. It's supposed to be this way. But, that's impossible if you can clearly see that these people are operating by a code. They have hijacked this book and they are using it. I'm not saying the Bible isn't true, but what I'm saying is that they're using this Bible in their own way to create havoc and claiming it as a prophecy when they can carry these things out at any time they get ready, because they have minions all over the world working for them. And I remember hearing someone say, you know how many people it would take to be in on this for something like this to carry it out? Yes, and they are doing it. These people are doing it, and I just hope enough people wake up to start, that we can do, protests, peaceful protests. You can't beat this military, but the people need to stand up to say that we need a different government that is not operating by gematria. I'm tired of seeing these rappers being killed by this code. People I know dying by this code. But people don't understand what this code is, so they think these people are just dying by other means, and this just isn't so. This is a death cult. We live in a world that loves killing people. So, with that said, you guys have a good night, and the next chapter I will be reading is chapter 5. And please get these books. Oh, and as a matter of fact, I forgot to tell you how to get the books. Okay, so Number Games 9/11 to Coronavirus. It is available now on Amazon as a pre-order, and the book will be released October 13th. If you don't want to order from Amazon, you can get this book directly from Zachary K. Hubbard by visiting his blog page, gematriaeffectnews.blogspot.com. The first thing you'll see when you get to that page is the advertising for this book, and as you scroll down, it'll show you how to purchase the book within the United States and abroad. And this is the guy that wrote the book, both books. Letters and Numbers is a PDF file book, and you can get that by visiting Zachary K. Hubbard's YouTube channels, Gematria Effect News or Gematria Effect Sports, and in the description of each of the videos that he produces, he leaves a link for the book. The book is only $5, the best $5 you'll ever spend in your life, because you won't get this information anywhere else, and this information is something you can prove. You don't have to believe in it, you can prove it. So be sure that you save the file once you get it, because it's going to be in a PDF file. There's over 700 pages in this book. Zachary K. Hubbard left the copyright off this book so that you can have it bound into a book for your own personal library. And but keeping it in the electronic file format is great because it makes it so much easier to search for information within the book. But get his books. Learn what gematria is. Teach it to your children. I teach it to my grandkids because they need to know this information. We need to know our enemies, as the Bible says. Know your enemies. And the enemies are the people who are operating by gematria. All right, you guys. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.